Hi, this is David Chelsea, and I'm doing another one of my perspective instruction videos. This is drawing over a vertical 2-point perspective grid. And we're going to start drawing any second now. Credits are going to end right away, just momentarily. Just standing by here. Yeah, there we are. So this is the vertical 2-point perspective grid, which is really just a 2-point perspective grid turned sideways. And I'm going to be drawing one of my popular series, Random Haiku, over this perspective grid. I'm going to use the entire page, and it's all going to be in the same perspective drawn over this perspective grid. Right now, today, I'm just going to draw one panel. The whole thing is already available as a speed demo, but this is also a speed demo. I'm drawing this kind of at 2/3 speed. I wanted to do real time, but the whole video was half an hour long, and I was only able to render 20 minutes of it. That's the limitation of my computer. Maybe I need to get a more powerful computer, but as it is, when I attempt to do something as long as half an hour, it goes black at like 6 minutes. So 20 minutes we're going to get. And I'm copying, it's a little off to the side. You'll see it better later on. I'm copying a photograph that I just picked randomly off of Facebook. Not quite randomly, because I liked the picture and I thought it would go well in this perspective. And it's a photograph of an artist selling comics at a comics convention. I forget the guy's name. Anyway, so I'm just sort of sketching him out here in red pencil and keeping in mind in general the perspective. The perspective of the original photograph doesn't match the perspective in the perspective grid, so I'm having to do a little bit of creative adaptation, figuring out where that pencil goes, or where that table goes, and where all the various books and booklets and comics would go. And they're all rectilinear shapes, so it's easy to align them with the perspective in the grid. And I have a vanishing point to align to, which makes it a little easier. And those square divisions in the columns help me keep measurements relatively consistent. So I'm just drawing away with my little mechanical pencil, 0.5 lead, red, which is nice because eventually when I scan this art, I'm gonna ink over the red pencil, of course, and it's easy to just take the red out as well as the underlying blue, and just save the black. So I am drawing some more. I'm not obviously talking while I'm drawing. This is post-recorded. I recorded this video about a week ago. Today actually is May 4th. May 4th, 2021. May the 4th be with you day. But it is also the day I am getting my second COVID vaccine shot. Which, funny enough, The location for the vaccinations is at the Oregon Convention Center, which is the very same place where I used to set up at either Wizard World or Stumptown, local comics conventions. So, very appropriate subject. So it's odd being in the same room and seeing everybody masked. People wore masks at the comics conventions, cosplayers, but I usually did not. No, I never did. I never went in costume. Actually, I find the cosplayers annoying because they never buy anything. Because they, are wearing costumes and there's usually no room for a wallet. And, they're there to be seen. We're just ships that pass in the night. So, oh, look. I am already starting to ink. And I am using my platinum fountain pen. Drawing things in there. Getting some nice shadows under the collar. And continually shifting the paper around to get the best angle. Some people like to tape their page down when they're drawing. I find that uncomfortably restrictive. And as you can see, I'm following the basic direction of lines going back to the vanishing point. Now at this point, I think I probably have no idea what's going to go in the dialogue balloon. That's the way I usually do it with these random haiku strips, is I'll just draw whatever I want to draw and then figure inspiration will come to me later. In haiku form. And I'm not using a ruler for the ink lines. Most of the time I don't. You could say it's so that the line is not so cold and mechanical, but really it's because I almost always smear ink when I use a ruler. Okay, and I'm drawing the balloon and more books, comics. And some boxes and a poster or two back there. Whatever. I've been that guy. I remember being behind the table, trying to spark interest. Actually, it got harder and harder. I used to get decent sales at Stumptown. But once they stopped and I switched to doing Wizard World, it was harder because there was less of an indie crowd. So I would get aggressive. I would stand up and buttonhole people, like try and get their attention and say, "Thank you for shopping Wizard World." And if somebody was coming by in a superhero costume, I'd say, "Thank you for keeping us safe." A lot of people miss those comics conventions. That's what they say on Facebook. I don't really. I'm kind of just happy to sit at home and post my comics on Patreon rather than sitting around or standing around for hours in the Oregon Convention Center. I always get really hoarse after one of those comics conventions too, because the acoustics are so terrible that you have to yell if you're going to have a conversation. However, if you Patreon patrons want to come by comics conventions once everything opens up, I will be happy to appear. I will be happy to speak to you personally. As long as I don't have to travel. As long as it's in Portland. These things are expensive. It's expensive to get in, and I usually don't make my admission fee back. Okay. Can't read what I'm writing there, but I'm sure it's hilarious. Now, am I ready to start? Oh, looks like I'm ready to start composing my haiku in red pencil. I might actually... Do I remember what I wrote here? Yeah. There'll be a link where you can check out the finished comic. I'm writing, "Hey there, cosplayers. Stop and shop, why don't you? 5 books for $1." Very cool. And are we done? I think I'm done. Or am I going to come in? Oh, I'm going to come in and maybe do a little more inking. Oh, heavy up some outlines. I like that kind of stained glass, heavy outline. That Winsor McKay style. So I am using another pen. I think it's a Lamy. Yeah. What? I'm interrupting here. Oh, okay, there we go. I guess I was refilling it. If I know me, I'm going to be adding shading at some point. But for now, I'm just heavying up the lines. I'm kind of glad I wasn't able to run this at actual speed, because I am finding it hard to find stuff to say about this. It would be even harder if it were half an hour I have to fill. I recently did that plein air conference, and there I had to fill 40 minutes. And I managed to do it. And I hope the students got something from it. I was doing that, and I was also, when it streamed, I was answering chat questions in real time. And that was kind of fun. I had a good time. I'd do it again. Hope they hire me back. So, giving him a checked shirt. And, yep. Doing some shading on his cap. And some superhero looking guy on a poster in the back. Give him some washboard abs. I think I'm going to draw a gun, futuristic gun. Guns are always good. There we go. I don't know what I'm drawing there. Oh, I think it's a couple of alien feet. Outlining the guy's name. Chuck Blood. Hilarious. And I think I'm done. Of course, I'm not done. You'll see in a sec, because I have miscounted the number of syllables in the middle line. I wrote 6 syllables instead of 7. It's an easy mistake to make because, who counts syllables when you're writing? This is something I've noticed hearing haiku read aloud. I cannot hear the syllables. It just sounds like so much free verse to me. But of course, you don't want to get that wrong. And I have a theory that somehow haiku does something in Japanese that it doesn't do in English. Somehow the Japanese hear those syllables and are stirred the way we are by, I don't know, Dr. Seuss or something. So my new line is stop and buy stuff. Why don't you? Stop and buy stuff. Why don't you? 7 syllables. Otherwise the lines are unchanged. But to make it look clean, I had to paste down a whole new piece of paper. And that would seem to do it. It's a wrap. Apart from the other frames, but we'll get to those. Thank you for watching.